Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Good Newsday episode where we look up all of the news and find the ones that are positive and make us feel good about being alive. We've got a lot of stories about people striving against what people tell them they can't do. And of course, animals saving children and money being raised to help other people. Yeah, this world is expensive and there's people out there who can help with just a little bit. This is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we've started and we haven't had any caffeine or sleep or somebody's drinking coffee because he's a cheater, but it's supposed to be before coffee. I never drink coffee, to be fair. So let's get started with these positive spinning headlines. Today on Before Coffee. Tonight is a peak Lyriad meteor shower. Andy Krobly is going to tell us where we can see it. And 83-year-old race car superfan finally gets her chance behind the wheel, outliving prejudice.
Here's Roger from the United States for Good Newsday. We're an 81-year-old waitress that she couldn't retire, so a stranger raised over $300K for her.
A horse therapy program in Namibia brings joy to children with learning disabilities.
Decommissioned wind turbine that becomes a tiny home.
In our culture segment, playwright Asif Khan. When people think about theater, they think about white people and Shakespeare.
And it's National Earth Day, the only planet we have. This one. So celebrate it. Take care of it. It's April 22nd, 2025 on Before Coffee.
I'm sure everyone in my neighborhood heard you from that one. Everyone, it's April 22nd. I do wonder if any other countries celebrate Earth Day, because I remember, obviously I grew up in the US, and it was really a big deal, right? Everyone had to, make their little presentations about why the Earth is important and what they did. I picked up plastic to save the Earth. That was a huge, big thing in at least the early 2000s when I was going to school. I don't know if it's still happening. Maybe people are just like, you know what? The world's over. Who cares anymore? We're not going to pretend we're fixing it.
Well, Stinky the Clown could always cancel it or Gulf of America Day or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
Exactly. All Earth Day.
Already having a stupid money-wasting parade on his birthday.
Anyways, let's not talk about the negative stuff. Let's go in with our positive spins on the news. Mm-hmm. But first, let's roll our segue wheel so we know what we're talking about in between these stories. I'm gonna need a
content
who from you. Get that poetry pen running.
Poetry pen. I'm 2/3 to a alliteration headline with poetry pen. There's my poetry pen, and I need some poetry paper.
As we start with our first story here about the Lyriad meteor shower. This is by Andy Krobly on Good News Network. Good news for everyone who likes to see meteors fall through the sky. The Lyriad meteor shower that produces anywhere between 10 to 100 shooting stars per hour. They're one of the best for Americans since the point in the sky they seem to originate from is located far in the north of the night sky in the constellation Lyra. Those in the southern hemisphere won't have much of a northern sky in their view, but citizens of the US and Europe will have excellent viewing of this meteor shower. Though the Earth passed into the Lyriad meteor stream on the 16th of April, the peak is happening when the largest number of shooting stars can be seen. Meteor showers occur when the Earth crosses paths of comets, and the shooting stars are fragments of comets burning in the atmosphere. The comet that forms the Lyriads is known as the Thatcher Comet, after the astronomer who discovered it. It's called the Lyriad meteor shower stream rather than the Thatcher meteor stream because the shooting star appears to Earthlings as if they originate in the constellation Lyra. To find Lyra, look for the star Vega, one of the brightest in the sky in this time of year. Though Earth passes through these meteor streams around the same time every year, the moon's phases are less consistent. As it happens this year, a waning crescent will fall below the horizon, and after dinner time, hours in the US East Coast mean that there will no light pollution from the pale lady. The longer you watch the meteors, the higher Lyra and its guiding star Vega will rise in the sky. Earth Sky reports, Long after midnight, but before the dawn in the northern hemisphere, they will be so high that any shooting star will appear to streak across the whole of the sky, promising a much better show. So there's your meteor news. Did you have a haiku that quick? It's a very short story.
I will in a second, but read your second story.
Okay. You can write 2 haikus. This one's a little longer. Also from the Good News Network, probably also by Andy Krobly, we've got an 83-year-old race car superfan who finally gets her time behind the wheel. Some of the best childhood memories are filled with revving engines, spinning tires, and cheering crowds. While her brother drag raced, but in those days there were no driving opportunities for women. Yeah, there's even a Disney movie about this, right? Her brother, her father, they're all drag racers, and she's like, I want to be a drag racer. Like, you can't do that, you are a girl. Huh? What does having tits have to do with driving a car? Yet she vividly... That's not what she said, but it'd be funny if in a Disney movie somebody said that. What does having tits have to do with driving a car? Yet she vividly remembers the rush of adrenaline she felt while watching her brother racing cars. Then one day she did have a chance to race in a powder puff derby. Especially for females, women, the event was rained out and she never got to opportunity again until now. I hate when people use females as a noun when they're talking about human beings. We can't ask a hippopotamus what gender they are, but you can ask women. Females. At age 83, Bobby Oxford's wish had finally come true. It took a long time. I have little need for speed, baby, she said from her senior living community in Littleton, Colorado, where she stays busy with sewing, quilting, painting, and leading a quiet life. The devoted fan of NASCAR, quiet life, as she leaves the NASCAR as max volume in the background. It's a quiet life. Racing got to check off her bucket list item thanks to the Wish of a Lifetime, a charity arm of the AARP that grants life-changing wishes to inspire people who age with joy. Her dream was fulfilled at the Pikes Peak International Raceway in Colorado in a retired race car belonging to Joe Garone, the track's COO. Bobby took to the track under a clear blue Colorado sky. Not a drop of rain would cut her experience short this time. When asked by CBS Sunday Morning how she wanted to go, she replied, "As fast as I can, maybe 130. After being, it is drag racing, they go pretty fast. After being fitted with a helmet and personalized racing suit, getting a tour of the garage, and completing an orientation, Bobby got behind the wheel with an experienced driver in the passenger seat, and she drove the 1-mile oval track over and over. That's the sound of this motor being behind the wheel, she exclaimed. You step on the gas and hear roar, I tell you. Along the sidelines, female race car drivers of all ages cheered, Go, Bobby, go! Friends from her senior community also attended, along with her son and daughter-in-law, waving handmade signs in support of Bobby. After she'd had her fill, a professional driver took her a ride of her life, spinning in circles and burning rubber to give Bobby the full experience she'd missed all those years. I made it, Bobby called out as she completed her drive. Nothing can ever top this. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I could get in a car, but I did. So there you go. Woman, she ended up driving at 90, not 130 miles per hour, but still pretty fast. At 83, living her racing dream. I think let's do that video. There's already a video right here for us to do with my with. It looks fun.
Great, man.
I would never be able to drive, but I would love to be in the car doing the spin outs. It would be so scary.
I would definitely love it. Yeah. Those turns are banked, so you never really get in trouble flying off the track or anything. Haiku time.
Haiku time.
This is about your meteor shower. The sky is falling. Technically, not all of it. Just fragments of it. And what about the driving? This is a haiku, but it's also a metaphor. Life is like a race. Sometimes you're in gear quite fast, sometimes in the pits.
Hey, those are good. Nice. I love a nice poetry opening here.
Pretty sharp for a Tuesday.
Well, it's because you're already drinking coffee. Look at you.
That's why. I've cheated. I'm juicing. I'm juicing. I'm on roids. I'm on haiku juice.
Your haiku
juice this morning.
Oh, mixed metaphor for me as you go into your story.
All right. Let's going to talk about... Which one did we do first? Let's do the 81-year-old woman. Says we're just talking about an 83-year-old woman. An 80-year-old woman, this is from Today.com, the Today Show, the famous show, morning show on NBC in the United States. 81-year-old waitress says she couldn't retire, so a stranger raised over $300K for her. And, let's see.
300 big ones.
Yeah, 300K. That's a lot. I don't think I could spend that in the next 10 years. I could try. Somebody send me the money.
Don't tempt him.
Yeah. Let's start collecting money to see if I can spend that money. Anyway. Tammy Kanzier, a Pittsburgh area esthetician and TikToker, was recently grabbing a bite with her young son Leo at a local restaurant called Eat and Park. And she noticed her friendly server Betty was struggling to get around. She then overheard the octogenarian confiding to another patron that she was suffering from chronic back pain. Oh boy, that's my life. But needed her job because her $910 monthly Social Security payout wasn't nearly enough to cover her bills. $910. That'll buy you half a month's rent somewhere. What a country. Moved by Betty's plight, Kazier thought fast. She immediately deployed the power of TikTok and began recording their interaction. If I can make one video go viral, then let it be this one, Kazier prefaced her post, then offered to give any proceeds the TikTok creator rewards program might generate from the post to Betty. In the meantime, she emptied her wallet. I have $40 in my purse, and that's what I'm going to leave her for a tip, she said. She can't hardly walk, Leo added to the camera. Betty was touched. I worked all my life as a waitress, and I can't retire, she told Kanzier gratefully. Her sense of humor and undeterred resilience was moving. I'm 81, but I can still outdo all these whippersnappers, she's cracked. If you're using the word whippersnapper, you are officially from the 19th century. When Kanzier and her son said goodbye, Betty said, "Take care and enjoy life because it'll go by you fast, you whippersnapper." I've never been a whippersnapper. I don't think I've ever been. Just as Kanzier had hoped, her post went viral, and within just 24 hours, Kanzier had so many comments and offers to donate, she had to learn how to put together a GoFundMe for Betty. People were asking if they can Cash App or Venmo me, and I can do that as well if you trust me, she said. I mean, I trust me. The following day, Kanzier was moved to tears by the overwhelming response of her plea. Thank you for your generosity, she said. I don't even know her, and I'm crying. At that point, the GoFundMe had raised $110,000, and she had garnered an additional $30,200 Venmo donations for the waitress. The tally had grown to $140,000 when Kanzier told Betty what she had been up to on TikTok. I think I better get a financial advisor, Betty cracked, clearly stunned. You're God, she said. Well, okay, that's right, I'm God. If I get somebody calling me God, hey, I'm God. Let's do some stuff. Anyway, I promise I'm not, said Kanzier. I don't know. Well, I didn't know it was going to go this big. You don't know what this is going to help me for. Let's do that again. You don't know what this is going to help me for, Betty told her. I hope it helps you with everything, said Kanzier. Bills, maybe you can go on a trip or something. My family and I are having financial difficulty, and this could take care of it, Betty responded. Kanzier burst into tears of joy. I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. With each subsequent TikTok update, Kanzier posted about Betty's fundraiser. The GoFundMe amount swelled, requiring the retention of an attorney to set up a trust for the waitress. Remember, some attorneys make some money he wasn't expecting, huh? How about that? Happy birthday for the attorney.
Yeah.
Unexpected windfall for him. He's like, yeah, all right, I can set up a trust fund. Remember, I'm just a regular person, said Kanzier. In an update concerning Betty about trying to figure out the logistics of safely transferring the funds while reiterating Betty's wish to stay off camera. Finally, on April 2nd, Kanzier and her son Leo returned to Eaton Park to share the total of the GoFundMe with Betty, a whopping $328,739.18. She's a sweet, deserving woman, Kanzier shared after the fact, sharing Betty's gratitude with the TikTok masses. It just goes to show anyone of us could look at another human being and, through simple, selfless acts, change their lives for the better. For that, Kanzier is grateful too. I'm so glad that we are put in this place at a certain time, and we raise this money for her to enjoy the rest of her life. And now you can't visit her at that restaurant because she quit her job, and now the restaurant went out of business, and the business failed, and that poor family had to go into bankruptcy and their life spiraled out of control because they had to close the restaurant. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good news. It's all good news. I'm sure the restaurant can find another waitress that moves really slow. But yeah, there's your good news. And
He's definitely.
Where's your?
Yeah, I'm going.
Oh,
He's definitely
right.
gone to the dogs with all the guns blazing.
Really?
That store with her. Nope, you guys are out of
the
business now. I have all the money I even ever need. I'm gonna buy the store.
Yeah.
Also, happy 4 days until the weekend, Tommy. You're already counting down the days. That's kind of sad to hear that you're counting down the days to the weekend already.
Right.
But either way, it's Good Tuesday News Day, so it's not so bad. Let's roll our wheel.
Sorry about the little fan fiction I put at the end.
Your fan fiction, yeah. We've got a bad pun for these next stories here.
Oh, right.
Hey, congrats on the rank up as well. Our next story is going to be about a horse. Not just any horse, a horse that's helping bring joy to children with learning disabilities in Namibia. This is by the Associated Press, coming out of Windhoek. Oh, that's so funny. There's a place called Windhoek. There must have been a Dutch place before. Susan de Meyer's how horses have different effects on different children. Hyperactive kids learn to get a little quieter around them, while nonverbal children move to communicate and to bond with them. It helps that horses speak their own language, so you don't have a bunch of judgmental adults saying, "Speak properly! I'm a horse. I don't even know what you're saying." De Meyer runs a program in the southern African country of Namibia that harnesses the power, but also the gentleness of horses to help children with learning disabilities and conditions like ADHD and autism. Each weekday morning, De Meyer's dusty paddock, just outside the capital, Windhoek, is enlivened by a group of 8 to 10 children from one of the special schools she helps. The children ride the horses, groom them, stroke them often. De Meyer talks and says, De Meyer says they also talk to them. De Meyer grew up on a farm surrounded by horses, and they've always been part of her life. Official horse girl. She also said they have a quality that is invaluable. They don't judge the children, no matter how different they are. The horse is the hero in the situation because these kids don't want to be around a lot of people, De Meyer said. De Meyer's program, Enabling Through the Horse, is supported by the Namibian Equestrian Federation and won an award last year from the International Equestrian Federation because it underlines the wonderful characteristics of the horse, exuding sensitivity and intuition. Also official horse girls, it sounds like. Horse therapy has been promoted by autism groups and those that work with children with learning disabilities as having a positive impact. And animal therapy in general has been found to be very useful in many instances, like dogs that help military veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, and therapy cats that are taken to hospitals and nursing homes. Some survivors of the devastating 2023 Hawaii wildfires found relief in horse therapy while grieving loved ones they had lost. De Meyer jokes that she has 2.5 horses. These include 2 Arabians and a white mare named Farana, and a brown gelding, Lansha. Well, the half is a miniature horse called Bonzi, who is about head high for a 5-year-old. Yeah, that sounds good for me. The Arabians are often most useful to children therapy because of their size, De Meyer said. They're small enough for children. I've seen a real horse, and they're too tall. They're scarily tall. I mostly rode ponies myself because they're not too scared. They're not too tall for me. I'm sure. Okay. It gives them self-esteem. When they stroke the horse, the therapy stops because this is a very big animal compared to the height. They are not scared to stroke the horse and then to ride it and tell the horse what they want, she said. There's some children doing this on a horse, just like, whee, on a horse. Tamara works with children with a range of conditions or disabilities, including autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, Down syndrome, those who are non-verbal or touch-sensitive, and some who are born with fetal alcohol syndrome and have development problems. She has received interest from other countries in Africa and Asia to start a similar program there. The changes that I've seen with the learners are significant, says Cherzel Lau, a teacher at Dagbrecht School. There's so many Dutch. This is so weird. Which says it's one of the just 2 government schools in Namibia for children with intellectual disabilities. We have a learner that likes to talk a lot. When he comes here, she knows she has to keep quiet. She sits in her place. Some of them, you see them, are more open. They are happy. Some of them were very scared when they started with the horse riding, but now they're very excited. When they hear we're going to the horses, they're very excited and they want to go by themselves, Loud said. The mayor said her program helps with fine motor skills, gross motor skills, muscle strengthening, coordination, balance, and posture, all important for kids who struggle to sit at a desk and learn at school and learn. One simple exercise Demire has children doing when they ride is to let go of the reins and stretch their arms out and straight to their sides, using only their torso and their lower body to balance as groom leads the horse around the paddock. That is actually a great way to learn how to horse ride, because most of the horse riding you do is with your legs. It's not really with your arms. Your arms are just kind of there. Hold the reins, really. But a lot of it is with your legs. Some of the kids break out in smiles when they let go and look like they're soaring. We make the world different for these kids, the Meyer said. So, there is your great tear-bringing story about children in Namibia learning to love life and be happy through horses. Riding horses, talking to horses, touching horses. It's pretty great. You have a pun? It was a pun, right? Yeah. Oh, he's disconnecting. He'll be back.
I had a pun almost from the start. Almost from the start I had a pun. Are you there?
Yeah,
am I back?
I'm here.
Okay. All right, we're connected. All right, good. My pun is, you heard about the pony that couldn't perform at the concert, right?
No, I haven't heard about it.
He was a little horse. Anyway.
The second had to take over.
Right.
That's classic, right. The classic horse pun.
Yep.
All right,
spin the wheel for my story, I guess.
Another mixed metaphor for me.
On Facebook message here.
I love mixing those metaphors.
Hooking you up with a video here. So if you can bear with me for a second. Down in my story. Facebook. Okay. All right. Decommissioned home. A decommissioned wind turbine that became a tiny home. This is from Angela Garwood of Positive.News, which has their own writers. They just gather stories, maybe. All right, so this is, the wind turbines, which a lot of people hate for some reason. Oh my God, it makes noise. It's like, okay, what do you want? It's free electricity. Part of an old turbine has been transformed into a house in a bid to prove that these structures can have a meaningful second life. You might be blown away to know that the tiny house, there's a picture. But imagine a picture here. You might be blown away to know that the tiny house pictured used to stand 100 meters in the air as a major part of a wind turbine. That's right. The average lifespan of 20-25 years, with an average lifespan of 20 to 25 years, estimates based on International Energy Agency figures forecast that 5,000 wind turbines will now be decommissioned each year. In an effort to reduce this waste, the Swedish energy company Vattenfall has repurposed a nacelle, the part of which the 3 wind turbine blades are attached into a tiny home. So you picture the wind turbine. There's a little place that holds all the gear, all the electrical wiring and the meters and everything. And that part has got to be disposed of at some point. Instead of just cluttering up landfills, we can turn them into homes. We are in a time and space where our largest offshore wind farms are starting to reach the end of their life, explained Vattenfall's Director of Motive Innovation, Thomas Hjort, H-J-O-R-T, Hjort. Thomas Hjort, let's say. We need to figure out what we do with these medicines. We need to figure out what we do with these machines once they're done with their first life. We need to ensure that they create a positive impact society where they are. Vattenfall challenged Dutch designers to come up with a solution, and the Meteor space is the result. While the nacelles are no longer used to house the turbine's gearbox and generator, they are still watertight, sturdy, and even offer protection against lightning. That's right, they're well grounded. Rotterdam-based architecture agency Superroos Studios came up with the design for the home made from a Vestas V880 2MW nacelle, measuring just 10 meters long by 3 meters wide and 3 meters high, which is, that's tall enough for a human. I mean, nobody's 3 meters tall. The tiny house created from a turbine nacelle is equipped with a heat pump, solar panels, and solar water heater, and furnished with sustainably produced and secondhand items. So yeah, they're repurposing everything that goes into it. Designer Jos D. Krager said that, to his knowledge, is the first design of its kind using a nacelle. There are a wide range of wind turbine models, and all of them have their own specific blade lengths and nacelle sizes, he explained. But with this V80 nacelle, we are in the sweet spot of it. Sweet. Being big enough to live in and small enough to transport on land. Despite its humble size, the home meets Dutch building regulations in terms of providing enough living space, daylight, insulation for the roof and walls, and having a large enough kitchen. It also houses a bathroom with a toilet and sink and a shower. Yes, definitely it's not a home unless it has a bathroom. That's one of your prerequisites. If you're still crapping in the woods, you don't have a home, you have a tent or a lean-to. Anyway, beyond that, like any home, it had to be somewhere that people would want to live. The prototype has been produced without a bespoke design so that people can imagine putting their own stamp on it. With this nacelle, we are in the sweet spot of being big enough to live in and small enough to transport on land. Of course, that's a caption for a picture I just read. Part of the challenge was being able to produce something that can be replicated at scale. D. Krieger said that there are around 10,000 V80 turbines currently in use around the world, all with limited lifespan. However, any potential manufacturers of the homes would need a steady supply of nacelles, something that's difficult to guarantee. But in a few years, when they all start reaching their end of life, that won't be a problem, I would imagine. While Vattenfall has no plans to make more houses out of nacelles, no plans, it is willing. Why does it have no plans? It is willing to give the parts to companies who would be interested in converting them. That's good. Hjort is the name of the person, from the company, said he had received a lot of interest while nothing decisive yet. Not anyone starting a business on it. Alongside the nacelle, wind turbine blades are notoriously hard to recycle, and they're usually made from carbon fiber composite. While efforts are underway to change this, trade body Wind Europe estimates that around 14,000 blades could be dismantled across Europe in the next 5 years, generating between 4,000 and 40,000 and 60,000, generating between 40,000 and 60,000 tons of waste. Despite its humble size, right, let's do that. That's another caption. However, several companies are already putting them to innovative reuse. Reblade is to install canopies. Reblade is to install canopies made from decommissioned blades at SSE Energy Solutions. new EV hub in Dundee, Scotland. Currently awaiting planning and permission. If the scheme goes ahead, they will form an overhead shelter during the charging process. Oh, that's interesting. Overhead shelters for charging stations. That's what the blades are going to be repurposed as. The wind turbine decommissioning firm, which has previously made furniture and even bus shelter from repurposing blades, said that the canopies would be a world first in public realm infrastructure. SSE said it anticipates fitting more of the canopies at some of the 500 EV charging hubs it's planning to create by 2030. Meanwhile, Blade Bridge has used two LM13 blades to replace steel girders for a 5.5 meter bridge spanning a flood channel on the Dungorny River in Cork, Ireland. It has also transformed blades into street furniture and crafted tables and chairs for a community center in Ireland. So yeah, let's repurpose those fan blades too. Everything. Let's repurpose everything. I want to live in a wind turbine. That's my new dream. Anyway, there's
Have you ever
the story.
been under a wind turbine? It's pretty scary.
Yeah, you can drive pretty close to them out west.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to work my last job previous to this one. I just quit. My last job, I used to, one of my sites is right next to a wind turbine. So it was like, woof, woof.
Yeah.
Yep, like you said.
Very loud.
It was literally 100 yards away. Man, I could deal with it. It wasn't as super loud. Like, oh my God, I can't take it. Just background noise.
Scary. It's just a scary amount of
me.
loud for me. I'm not, it's just like,
Right.
whoa, that's a lot of loud. I shouldn't be near something so loud, is what my brain is telling me, I think. Anyways,
you
our
moved
mixed
to the land
metaphor
of windmills.
sounds
You moved to the
like
land of windmills.
the word wind
There you go.
turbine
Anyway,
is the sharpest
Yeah.
bulb in the box. The insulated box that can't get electrocuted.
there you go. Your over-explained metaphor. There you go.
There you go. Well, I don't know if anyone remembered that part. It was insulated.
Right.
Grounded.
That's right. People. Sometimes you just got to explain things to people.
All right, non sequiturs are next segue. Or our culture segment here, which is all
I
about.
did send you a video, so there you go.
I thought we were gonna do my video,
What video is that?
the one with the 83-year-old going pedal to the metal.
Oh, did you send me one?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna send it to
Oh,
you
okay, cool.
right now. Let me find it again. And I'm watching somebody Denzel Washington do a speech for some reason. Like the
That's like-
autoplay kept playing.
Yeah.
There you go. Living your NASCAR dreams.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, culture segment is going to be about Asif Khan. This is by Anya Ryan on The Guardian. Asif Khan first heard about Lena, Mayasa, and Amia, the three Muslim skateboarding sisters from Hull, who became social media stars in 2022 with their skills from his mother-in-law. She does this a lot. She'll send me an article and say, "You could write a play about this," laughs Khan. But there was something about this particular story that piqued his interest. They all wore the hijab, lived with their mom, and had an Instagram account where they did their own raps and filmed skateboarding tricks. I immediately thought, okay, this is a good premise for a play. So he set about adapting it for the stage. He contacted the girls' parents and had a good long hours chat. They were excited that someone was interested in doing a play about them, says Khan, 44, who also works as an actor. The results of those chats is Sisters 360, a play about two Bradford-based hijab-wearing skateboarding stepsisters, Fatima and Salima, aimed at audiences between the age of 8 and 12. Really, Fatima is the most generic, like, Muslim girl name. Anyways, this is not the first time Khan has written for children. His 2021 play Jabala and the Jinn tells the story of a girl coming to terms with the loss of her mother, while his first play for adults, Combustion, earned him an Asian Media Award for Best Stage Production. Sisters 360 is slightly different from Lena, Maisa, and Amia's reality. It's inspired by them. The story is completely made up, says Khan, to represent a diversity of Muslims. Khan reimagined the girl as stepsisters from different cultural backgrounds. Fatima is a British Somali, while Salima is a British Pakistani. But despite not being blood relatives, they unquestionably see themselves as best friends and family. They absolutely feel like real sisters. Together, Fatima and Salima play with their favorite toys. Batgirl and Batman obsess over their favorite Olympic medalist, Hope Black, inspired by the real-life Olympian Sky Brown. That's funny. Hope Black and Sky Brown. That's her real name. And most importantly, skateboard. When Sisters 360 begins, they're preparing for the big competition. Tiny is mighty, but as tensions rise between their parents over Fatima's mom relocating from Bradford to London for work, the close-knit world starts to unravel. The script deals with big themes and emotions. There are separations, changing friendships, and cultural identities. How does he make his work suitable for an audience full of children? I think we underestimate kids sometimes. We definitely do. They can watch things and are engaging and entertaining, but also have a certain level of meaning about our lives and what we go through as humans. They just see something, they see things point blank what it is, you know? They don't have all of that weird socialization we have, where we're like, oh, does he mean this? Or maybe he meant this. No, it's straight up what happened. Khan's play is certainly not all gloom, though. On stage, Fatima and Salima, played in this production by Sarah Abanur and Farah Ashraf, share their different languages and cultural traditions. Dressed in colorful patterns, hats, and knee pads, the girls come alive in each other's companies. Skateboarding is at the core of their friendship. They spend hours at the skate park, practicing, perfecting tricks. That's not what people associate in their minds with Muslim girls, Khan says. No. I mean, though I would argue being dressed a lot is better for skateboarding than being half naked. As somebody who has fallen off their skateboard and slid into a bunch of thorns, and then my stomach was just because all I was wearing was a sports bra. Wearing more clothes is sometimes better. All the time better, I would say. Right, where was I? Skateboarding is generally seen as more of a boys' thing, unfortunately, even as more and more women win competitions, it's still seen as a boys' thing. It breaks down these stereotypes of girls taking part in the sport. Khan likes to think of skateboard as another limb that you hand trust over to. You have to be really brave. It's not something I could do, he admits. It's a sport that there's also an artistic element to it. It gives people the space to express their individuality and represent themselves. There's also a lot of creativity in doing the tricks and creating a very interesting kind of program from it. Certainly, this is true of Fatima and Salima and Sisters 360. When they saw it during its run at Wimbledon's Polka Theatre, they were struck by how different it feels to other plays for children they've seen. I don't think I've seen another way a young Muslim girl and their everyday experiences are so central. Khan agrees that it's still rare to find Muslim stories on a British stage. I've had people comment that it's a very unusual play, and I think that's a strange way to frame it, he says. It's true we don't often see Muslim girls on stage, but there's nothing unusual about it. I think it's the skateboarding, maybe. I don't know. Khan is also keen that people see the play as about much more than a Muslim story. This play is about two 10-year-old British girls who have a dream and want to achieve it. The Muslim plot is not really the important bit, he says. Particularly at the moment, when Islamophobia is at a record high in the UK, Khan thinks it's more important than ever for his community to be represented accurately as people, not demons coming to take your stuff. I think the whole Muslim community feels very isolated. It feels like we're always the villains. It is tiresome and very, very hard to be a Muslim person right now, he continues. But writing Sisters 360 brought him a bit of joy. Theater, he believes, has a unique power to tell stories. It's a really powerful medium. Khan fell in love with the drama during his childhood in Bradford. He was 15 when he knocked on the door of the theater in the Mill on the University of Bradford's campus and met its artistic director, Andrew Loretto, for the first time. Everything I know was from there, Khan explains. Once I got involved, I learned more and more doors opened. He later went on to get a place at the RADA. Now Khan likes to pay homage to Bradford in his work. My hometown. I lived there until I was 25. People normally have a misconception about it, but it's beautiful. Friendly place. Every time he begins writing a new script, Khan imagines his characters as being born from Bradford, or at least having some connections to the city, the place I know best, and I know the people really well. Bradford is the UK City of Culture in 2025. but Khan still thinks his community are still not traditionally a theater-going audience. It's one of the things I want to change, he says. When people think about theater, they think white, middle-class people watching Shakespeare once they set two 10-year-olds from Bradford wearing hijabs. That might change. Young people are the start of forming the new pattern. If they enjoy coming, they'll come back, says Khan. They should have the question in their head, shall we go to the cinema or should we go to the theater? Things are starting to change, but slowly. And Khan still thinks theaters are afraid of taking risks when it comes to programming work about Islam. They'd rather find a safer story, which no one will find controversial in any way. As a writer, he sometimes feels the burden of trying to represent everyone, he admits, but ultimately, Khan wants Muslims to be reflected in all their complexity and variety. I want to be able to write about my community honestly and truthfully. The good and the bad side, he says. I want to challenge them as well. And Sisters 360 is only the beginning. My head is bursting with ideas, I just want to put them on stage. So, if you find yourself in Leeds from the 7th to 10th of May, Sisters 360 is playing there, and maybe they'll play other places too. Looks like it's getting a lot of, 4 stars, good reviews over here, so maybe they'll make it to London at some point and play there. Who knows? Keep your eyes on it, I guess. Sisters 360 for a nice skateboarding drama, winning the competition.
Drama.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have my non sequitur involves the participation of girls in skateboards, which is like, I will just like to say that I think every sport kind of starts out this way, right? Because boys are dangerous by nature, just want to hurt themselves for some stupid reason, invent sports. Like boys invent, banging their head against walls of sport, and the girls will go, well, I want to try that.
But you could argue because girls are taught that they need to be responsible at a very young age because they're not allowed to be children.
Whatever the environmental cause, or whatever, if it's nature, nurture, I don't know. I can't explain it to you. But boys want to do things that are dangerous just by nature. I don't even know what that. Maybe it's not nature, but I just say, hey, that guy's running into the other guy really hard. That looks like fun. Let me try it. Oh, that was fun. I'm hurt, but I'll be okay. And it's kind of a, and girls go, boys are having fun. Let's see if that's fun. I would have never thought of that in my logical mind of smashing into somebody else for fun, right? Let's try it. I'm like, why would you want to try that? It's like, I want to be a daredevil. Okay, it's your life. It's your body. Anyway, there's my non sequitur. Way too long. On to this day in history.
Let me roll my segue wheel here.
April 22nd in history.
Give me I knew it. It's always a limerick with the day in history. It's always a haiku or a limerick. They're like, make that into a poem. The entirety of history, make it into a poem. I'll try my best.
Well, there's Pope news today. We're going back to the year 1073. 1073 in Pope news. So maybe the first line can be about the Pope. Gregory VII, who was later canonized. I don't know what size canon they used to canonize him. Oh, wait, that's not what that means? Oh, okay. No. He was later canonized, which means I guess they make him into a saint. It's like they wave
He was put in a cannon and blasted into the sky. He became a star.
That's what you need to be doing. That's what we need to be doing with dead bodies, just launching them into space. Anyway, Gregory VII, later canonized, was elected by acclamation to succeed Pope Alexander II. There you go. There is his little life's long dream come true in 1073. In 1370, construction began in the Bastille, the medieval fortress that came to symbolize French despotism. Of course, the French Revolution, famously the storming of the Bastille, where political prisoners are being kept, not just regular criminals, which was the end of basically royalty and
monarchy in France.
Yeah, monarchy, yes. And they got Napoleon, and for a while, France looked like it was going to lead the world in everything, but that was it for them. Napoleon abdicated, and I don't know. Europe went into 19th century of relative peace, actually. In 1500, Portuguese explorer Pedro Alvarez Cabral, while on voyage tracing Vasco da Gama's 1497 to 99 water route to India, sighted in the mainland of South America near the present-day city of Porto Seguro, Brazil. So, of course, in 1500, Pedro Alvarez Cabral saw Brazil from the ocean. Of course, the people living there had no idea they were in Brazil. They just thought they were just at their house. In 1724, in 1500, white people discovered South America. There's your deal right there. Anyway, 1724, German philosopher Immanuel Kant, I think it's Kant, was born in Königsberg, Prussia, which is now Kaliningrad, Russia, as Russia keeps moving the border over time. It's not new for Russia to be moving their border. They've always done that. 1864, the U.S. Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1864, which led to the "In God We Trust" being printed on U.S. coins. The phrase was eventually added to all the country's currency. Which,
a great example of propaganda. Because by the time I was born, I thought it was always like that.
"In God We Trust" is like the most give-up phrase in the history of anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going to trust God. Oh, okay. God's been fucking things up forever, but hey, go ahead and trust him, right? 1870, like George Carlin said, if this is the best work God can do, I'm not impressed. This is the kind of work you expect from an office temp with a bad attitude. That's George Carlin, not me. But anyway, that's his great line. It's like, why are we praising God? He's fucking things up constantly. 1870, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin was born. Happy birthday to Vlad, who said, I am the walrus. Oh wait, that was different Lenin? Different Lenin? Okay. He is not the walrus. He's not the walrus. He founded the Bolshevik political faction in 1912 to 1970, expired and led the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, and headed the Soviet state from 1917 to 1924, and founded the organization known as the Comintern, or the Communist International. So happy birthday to Lenin! Not the one that's the walrus, the other one. Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. What's Big Lebowski? Or Dottie keeps saying, I'm walrus, I'm walrus. You were out of your element. In 1889, at noon, by federal decree, white settlers were allowed into Indian Territory on this day, also known as the Sooners, sparking a land rush involving tens of thousands of what became the Oklahoma Territory. As we said, oh, we're going to move all you Indians to Oklahoma in the Trail of Tears, and this is your land forever and ever as long as the buffalo roam. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah. Never mind, it's not your land forever and ever as long as the buffalo. Of course, as long as the buffalo roam, we just killed all the buffaloes. So there you go. 1904, American theoretical physicist and science administrator Robert J. Oppenheimer was born. Yeah! Don't worry. If he wouldn't have invented the nuclear bomb, someone else would have. So don't blame him. Anyway, who served as director of the Los Alamos Laboratory. He didn't do it by himself, by the way.
Yeah, no.
He was director of Los Alamos Laboratory in New Mexico during the development of the atomic bomb. Was born. And of course, they developed two little boy, and was a fat man and a little boy.
Yeah.
The two bombs they dropped on Japan. Well, the first one was New Mexico desert, of course. 1915, in this day, during World War I, German forces. Yeah, boy, what a great day! What a great day today. It was the opening of the Oklahoma Territory to a bunch of white settlers who were like, oh boy, this is horrible land, let's steal it. Anyway. Yeah. Also on this day, the German forces started using chemical warfare. It's the birth of chemical warfare. That's right. During World War I, German forces introduced
Anyone want some mustard gas?
Systematized use of chemical warfare released chlorine gas along a 4-mile, 6-kilometer, or 6-kilometer front at the Second Battle of Ypres. Ypres. Y-P-R-E-S. Ypres? Ypres? I don't know what that is. It's got to be in Belgium somewhere. In 1937, American actor Jack Nicholson was born. Jack Nicholson, You Can't Handle the Truth, one of the most prominent motion picture actors of his generation, especially known for his versatile portrayals of unconventional, alienated outsiders, was born. Jack Nicholson turning 88 today. For some reason, I seem to think he's older than that. 1983, the German magazine Stern created a sensation when it announced the discovery of Hitler diaries. 60 volumes of journals reportedly written by Adolf Hitler, however, they were quickly determined to be forgeries. But I'm pretty sure Donald Trump ran out and bought 50 copies.
The first movie fan fiction ever made, right there.
Yeah, well, at least the first Hitler.
I cried with my teddy bear that Jews exist. Something like that.
Mein Kampf is so lonely. 1994, former U.S. President Richard M. Nixon was the first president to resign from office. Well, he died on this day in 1994. Richard Nixon took off his...
I shouldn't have done that.
Shook off his mortal coil on this day in 1994. Goodbye, Richie. 1990. Richard Nixon always makes me cough. That's one of those things I got. It's a psychological tick. 2004, American football player Pat Tillman, who left his lucrative NFL career to enlist in the Army Rangers following September 11th attack, died in Afghanistan. Although initial reports claimed he was killed by enemy forces, it was eventually revealed that he had died in a friendly fire.
And actually, if you look back at any reports of Afghanistan, a lot of people died with friendly fire. There are more people died from friendly fire than anything else.
If you read the transcripts of how he died and how his unit got in that situation, it will piss you the fuck off. Anyway, so
don't,
again,
basically
incompetent leadership, which was the earmark of the George W. Bush administration. Lied about him being killed by enemy forces when in actuality it was a complete fuck up by the ground commanders, which I'm probably sure nobody was relieved to command. Nobody was punished because, we don't do anything wrong.
It even says here, if you press the link about him, it even says here, the reason they didn't just reveal the circumstances is they wanted to use him as a public sympathy for George W. Bush and his illegal war. So, exactly.
And the other propaganda that came out was, you remember the woman that was taken in the, there was a female soldier, Jessica, I forgot her name, Jessica something or other. Anyway, she was made famous, and because, the U.S. military commandos found her location, and it was this historic thing, blah, 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 the military did. In actuality, what happened was the doctors who were treating her at the hospital got a hold of Americans and helped get her out of there. And of course, the military wanted to pretend it was this big military operation. I'm sorry.
It was like, no, it was just some Afghanistan doctors.
Politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, it was Iraq. It was in Iraq.
Oh, Iraq. Oh, it was Iraq. Okay. But Iraq people are supposed to be bad. What do you mean? There's nice ones out there that we bombed and killed for no reason? That's crazy.
They're doctors, and they were like, "Why is a woman fighting in a war? That does not happen in this country." In 2016, more than 170 countries signed the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, a landmark treaty that sought to control and reduce greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere. It took effect in November 2016. Of course, Stinky the Clown bought out of it again earlier this year because he's a piece of shit who don't give a crap about anything but his own pocketbook. 1970 on this day, our featured event, it is the first Earth Day. That's right, first celebrated this day, 1970, the U.S. Earth Day, founded by American politician and conservationist Gaylord Anton Nelson of Wisconsin, helped spark the environmental movement and quickly grew into an international event. It is an international event, so there you go.
Yeah.
Our feature biography is Miguel de Cervantes. Miguel de Cervantes, Spanish writer, born September 29th in 1547, and Alcala de Henares. Yeah, question mark. Alcala Calla de Henares, Spain, and died April 22nd. That's the anniversary of his death in 1616 in Madrid. A lot easier to pronounce, Madrid. Other birthdays besides Vladimir Lenin. It's another Vladimir's birthday, born in 1899. It's Vladimir Nabokov, American author. Of course, Nabokov wrote Lolita. It's about a very young girl who's captures the attention of a very much older man. Lolita. It's become known as a syndrome these days. So Nabokov unwittingly helped psychiatrists come up with the syndrome. Anyway, 1904, Robert Oppenheimer's birthday. We did that. We did Jack Nicholson. It is a Brazilian football player, K-A-K-A, with a tilde over what it's called.
Accent. Yeah.
Kakia. I think that's how it's pronounced. Brazilian football player. I'd hate to think his name is Kaka. That would be terrible. Anyway,
that'd be a terrible name.
Yeah, no.
For anybody who doesn't know, that means shit.
That guy ain't shit. Well, actually, he is.
You know, that made him a really good soccer player, you know, because everyone was telling him to shit all the time.
Football player. You got to say it right. Anyway, National Girl Scout Leaders Day today, and National Earth Day. We covered that. National Jelly Bean Day, a couple of days after Easter, but they're on sale. I'll bet you they're on sale. It's National School Bus Driver Appreciation Day. I gotta get off. I gotta have a coughing fit. School Bus Driver Appreciation Day today. So appreciate your school bus driver. Don't give them crap. They gotta deal with screaming kids every day of their life. So appreciate what they do. And do not, by the way, you see them flashing lights, stop your car.
Yeah,
morons.
I hate people who pass school bus drivers. Oh, I think they should be put in jail. Risk to society.
Put in jail 30 days. 30 days mandatory.
Yeah.
Miss work for 30 days, asshole. Anyway, those are your days. That's your mispronunciations, your spins of the wheel, your good news for Good News Day on this day, April 22nd. 2025 on Before Jelly Beans.
All right, here's my 3-stanza limerick about 3 different events. Right. On July 21st, the day so fine, Bastille's walls rose high in France's design. In 1771, a fortress strong for power to win, the people feared its might divine. But across the sea, another tale unfolds of trust and faith that never grows old. In God we place our hand, upon the dollar's stand, and on that note his name does hold. Of course, nations gathered round the table wide to save the planet from its dying tide. They vowed to take a stand against the rising sand, and climate change would not subside. So there's your limerick on all those 3 events, the Bastille, the In God We Trust bullshit, and Paris Agreement. As we also celebrate UN's official Mother Earth as well. Just making sure everyone knows the UN also has today as International Mother Earth Day. So everyone should be celebrating the Earth today, appreciating, go outside, appreciate the Earth, appreciate what's happening out there, because we only got one of them. You're just playing all of the things. We only have got one Earth. I'm doing my speech here. So, I also want to point out from the Brazilian footballer, it says here, Kaká owned his nickname to his younger brother Rodrigo, who as a child could not pronounce Ricardo and can only manage only Kaká. So instead of Ricardo, his name is just Kaká, and then he's just like, I'm gonna own it. That's me. So there you go. Anyways, tomorrow will be Wacky Weird Wednesday, though that was wacky enough for a whole Wednesday. I did not know there's a Brazilian football player called Kaká. And we will see you tomorrow for Wacky Weird Wednesday. So make sure you're subscribed to the Ali and Raj channel and turn those notifications on so you know when we go live and post a video. And here is our very adrenaline-filled mic drop moment.
Step on the gas. Oh, man, I'm not killing you.
I'm holding the steering wheel, and my heart is beating so fast.
Seems rather silly not to let old people
I think.
drive.
I mean, I can't even go above 40. I get scared.
Goes
So
up and into
going
my
80.
arms and into my hands.
It's all relative.
Wow.
look at yeah.
You're sitting perfectly still. So
I'm
hard
gonna drive a race car. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps again. What really
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get the
attracted me
life
to
story here,
racing
yeah.
was my brother. His
She can
camaraderie
take her
with his
oxygen
friends.
tank off because I'll let
When they
oxygen's
would
flying
race,
in the window.
the support, the affection of their friendship.
No, I think she probably did. Was she wearing it in the
In
car?
my 20s,
I didn't see.
they were going to have the powder puff race,
I don't
and
think
that
so.
was for
Richard
the
Petty
girls,
there.
and I was going to drive my brother's car. Well,
Oh
because
wow,
of
they were
the
driving around in that.
horrible
No wonder people were
rainstorm,
dying.
they called it off. That was the
That
one
looks like
chance
a
I
drag
had,
race
and I
car.
couldn't take advantage of it. It was the most horrible feeling I could
When the
ever
engine's
imagine.
mounted above
Damn
the engine, that's
sexist.
not
You
great.
can't
Didn't
ride
do a
this
lot of
car.
things
You
that
got
men did
tits.
then.
They're gonna
It was
fall
early
off.
1960s.
I mean, they
If I
did
was to tell
believe
my
that.
mom
Women
and
weren't allowed
dad,
to do a
I
lot of
think
things
I'm
because they
gonna
thought
be
our
a
bodies
race
would
car
just fall
driver.
apart.
They would say women don't drive race cars.
From driving
There are
a
places
car.
in the home.
Yeah, oh, riding a
I've heard
bicycle,
that so
right? Are
many
you
times.
over it? They're gonna fall out.
Sitting
Sitting there and going,
I got married when I was 23.
you must ride a
My
horse side
husband wasn't
saddle
really
too.
that
Yeah,
fond of
don't-
racing.
Don't tell people women were running around in fields, you know,
Silly
in
man.
ancient humans.
And then I was pregnant, and
Get back
one
home,
thing
baby
led to
factory.
another.
Then typical
I kept
story.
dreaming
I had
Oh.
a family, and then I was
Maybe I'd
forced to
drive a
give up
race
my
car.
dreams.
Never thought it would happen.
I can't believe it took this long.
Oh, here we
When I
go.
Can't
hit the
believe it.
gas for the first time, the upper part of my body just
AARP,
kinda
one thing
shook,
did that for
and on
me,
the
man.
straightaway,
What do you
oh,
want?
It was awesome.
300K? Like that one
Awesome.
lady got.
Awesome.
That-
Couldn't believe
exactly.
I was driving.
I
a
want
NASCAR
to be a
Oh, wait till
millionaire
I'm
for about
on a
before I
bona
die.
fide track.
I want that 300K now, not when I'm 83 or 81. I won't be able to enjoy it as much.
It was
Turbo Granny.
absolutely
I love
amazing
that.
how many people were there.
Watch out, Andretti.
Imagine. Even men were screaming. You go,
I'm so
Bobby.
cute that they brought
We love you,
signs.
Bobby.
It didn't say
Go
they
for
brought
it,
signs in
Bobby.
the article.
It was a big
just said that they were
deal.
cheering her on.
It was a big deal. The adrenaline did not leave me for a few days. If you want to do something, and
happy
you dream
grandma.
about it, do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
And don't let people
Make a
tell you you
wish.
can't do it because
A
you have
wish of a
tits.
lifetime,
That's what I
'cause
say.
It will stay with you forever.
I hate that,
Everybody's
man.
got tits.
I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate that. You can't do this. Why? You were born. Oh, my bad. I should have done that. Thanks, AARP.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.